What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Let's Learn. Today we're going to be looking at Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. Okay, now if you're new around here, basically what we do is we kind of walk through the song slowly and I explain my thought process as I figure out the song. If that's not really what you're interested in, and you just want to learn the song and not really think about the theory or anything behind it, this probably is going to be a little bit frustrating for you. You may want to check out a different video. Otherwise, stick around and let's get to it. Okay, now this song is in the key of D. The first thing you got to do, as with most of these songs, is just listen to your roots. Okay, so in the verse, it sounds like this. Right? Pretty easy. Now, normally what I say to you guys here is, once you have your roots down, just put chords over it. And that's pretty much the approach we're going to take today. There's just one little kind of sneaky thing that happens with the F sharp that we're going to talk about. So first chord, D major. That's fine. Now normally what you might think you would do is do an F sharp, G major, A major, right? And that's really close. You might notice though the F sharp minor, it doesn't sound quite right. The reason being, a lot of the time when you have a song in D major, when you hear an F sharp, and you try an F sharp minor, it doesn't sound quite right. You try an F sharp major, it doesn't sound quite right. Like those words I was saying. A lot of the time what it is this thing that I call a D over F sharp. I don't know if that's the right name. If you do know what the name of that is, let me know in the comments below so that I can seem smarter in the future. That'd be cool. But basically what you do is you maintain your D major shape, and then you can use your thumb to get the second fret on the E string, which is an F sharp, or you can rearrange your fingers a little bit and do it like that. I find thumb a little bit easier, but that's just me. Do what you like. Basically, the way this song's gonna go down is you do your D, and then your D over F sharp, G major, A major. Okay? Now, you also have the option, if you don't want to do a G major, you can also do, if this is a D over F sharp, this would be a D over G, where you more or less maintain that D major shape with your high strings, and you just change your root to a G. Right, so it would sound like this. With G, then A. You can also do it like that, if you don't want to use your thumb. Maintain your D shape with your index and ring fingers. Use your middle finger to hit that G. Over to the A. Okay, a couple different options there. I know on the album it sounds more like, to me, he's using just a regular G chord. Whereas live versions, it seems like he does more like this kind of thing. Both good options, both sound good. Do what's more comfortable for you, do what you like. Okay, now a couple little style points. There are some cool mutes at the right hand. There's a cool little like hammer-on thing, and there's also this. Right, so let's talk about those. First, with the hammer-on, the first chord, instead of going straight to a D, sometimes he'll do this. Right, so that's kind of cool. Basically, you just start with your index off, leaving the G string open, and then you hammer onto second fret. And then I like to pluck the high strings again, just to kind of remind everybody that they're still there. Right? I think it sounds kind of nice. When you get to the A, you get to this thing. Right? All that's going on there is, normally when you play an A major, you're playing it like that. So it's open, open, second fret, second fret, second fret, open. If these are all on the same fret, you can use 3 fingers. I like to just use 1 finger, because that means I got 3 more fingers to do stuff. If you're comfortable with bar chords, think of it kind of like barring just the bottom strings. So you've got this, and now you're going to use your ring finger to hammer on 4th fret on the G string and pull off. And if you want, you can also add another hammer on the D string on 4th fret. Right, so, and then pluck the strings again. So, but all that other stuff, it's pretty subtle in the song, right? And he doesn't do it every time. So it sounds a little bit like this. See what I mean? Like, you really only hear that first one. And again, don't overuse it. It gets corny really fast. But every now and then, it's pretty cool. It's kind of a really bluesy thing to do. And if you like that, if you like that style of playing, other artists that you'd want to look at are like Stevie Ray Vaughan or like the John Mayer Trio. Very different from just John Mayer. But John Mayer Trio, he plays a lot of that kind of style. Anyway, that's something to try. As for the mutes, I mean, you'll kind of feel it a little bit organically, but it's like... So if you're familiar with not just jazz, but just the idea of even counting when you're playing songs, you can kind of think of the mutes as you would your snare drums, so they're on the offbeats, like 1, 2. So it falls kind of like on the 2 and the 4. If you're counting on like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, and so on. Again, it's a little bit staggered in kind of like a funky way, but basically just think of it, the mutes, as your 2s and your 4s. Again, not super necessary, like you can do without it. You'll probably find that it's actually happening automatically to some degree just as you reset your fingers for the next chord. At least that's kind of what happens with me. I totally don't mean to do it, but I just end up doing it. Okay, so those are your verses. Now, if we get into the chorus, the people fall in love in mysterious ways part, listening to your roots, it sounds like... Okay, and then it does that again. On the third time it goes. And then on the final time, and then back to the verse. Okay, so basically you've got an E, A, and D major. Alright, so it's going to be E minor, A major, D major. Do it again, E minor, A major, D major. On the third time, E minor, A major, B minor. Now, first of all, if you're not sure if these chords, when you say you've listened to the roots and you're trying to figure out the chords, if you're not sure if it's major or minor, just try both and see which one sounds right. I mean, there is some theory behind that. Don't worry about it. Just see which one sounds right and go with it. Now here, when I switch to the B minor, that's a little bit of a complicated explanation as to why you can do that and why he does it. Your best bet is to check out my video I have on relative keys, but a very quick explanation is basically just that D major and B minor are pretty similar, even though they look really different and one's really happy sounding and one's really sad sounding. They're actually really similar keys, and a lot of the time you can sub one chord out for the other. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. And the final time through is just E minor and then A major. Okay, so at the last section of this song, it comes up a couple times where it goes, we found love right here where we are, or something like that. Just listening to the roots, as always, just we found love right where we are. So that's B, A, G, F sharp, E, A, D. Now, we already know B is going to be minor because we just did it. We already know A is going to be major because we've done it. We've already done a G major. We already know that the F sharp is going to be this crazy thing instead of a regular F sharp minor. Right, so the D over F sharp. And then the E we already know is going to be minor. A we already know is major because we've already done it. And then back to the D, right? So. And that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, if you'd like, and subscribe if you like this kind of video. And also let me know if you guys have any interest in a live stream. I've been debating doing like a question and answer thing and just sort of figuring out songs on the fly as you guys ask for them. I don't know. And last but not least, if you have any interest in learning the solo section of this song, I don't usually do that, but if you're interested, let me know, and I can go through it and kind of explain how it works and kind of why certain parts are played the way they are, because you would think, you know, a solo, it's more emotional and stuff. Well, yeah, but there's also some technical theory that goes into it and makes it sound cool. So if you want to know about that, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.